A warm greeting. Today is Sunday, October 29, 2023. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In this video, I will be providing an update on the forecast related to Tropical Depression number 19 in the Eastern Pacific. It is predicted to become Tropical Storm Pilar as it approaches the regions of El Salvador and southern Honduras. This video is of particular interest to the residents of El Salvador, southern Honduras, western Nicaragua, and parts of northwestern Costa Rica. The proximity of this tropical cyclone will bring heavy rains and a high potential for landslides and floods over the next 5 days. On another note, I wanted to mention that tonight, I will be recording another video to discuss two areas of cyclonic development interest in the Atlantic, especially in the central and western Caribbean, where a tropical cyclone could develop in the coming week. This could pose a risk to Central America, the Yucatan Peninsula, the state of Florida, and Cuba. If you live in the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean, it is important to pay attention to the upcoming video regarding this potential new cyclone that will develop in the coming days. Let's take a closer look at the visible satellite animation of Tropical Depression number 19. As you can see, it still remains somewhat disorganized. However, it is anticipated to become Tropical Storm Pilar within the next 12 hours. Over the past 2 days, this disturbance has remained relatively stationary in this area, but it should soon begin to move more to the northeast and east. The center of circulation is expected to approach the coast of El Salvador or very close to the southern region of Honduras. It is projected to be closest to this region during Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. If we look at the trajectory projections from specialized models, you'll see that they all agree on a slow northeastward movement over the next 2 days. Then, starting on Tuesday, it will take a turn to the southwest, which would take it away from the Central America region. With this slow movement toward the western coast of Central America, it promises significant rainfall associated with the outer bands that will have mostly eastward flow, significantly increasing humidity and shower activity in El Salvador, southern Honduras, and western Nicaragua and Costa Rica. At least in terms of intensity, the models continue to predict gradual strengthening over the next 48 hours, which would bring Tropical Storm Pilar to maximum sustained winds of 80 to 100 km per hour. It is currently not expected to become a hurricane as it approaches the Central America region. In fact, in the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, it is projected to reach a maximum intensity of a tropical storm with maximum sustained winds of 110 km per hour during Tuesday afternoon. It will be at its closest during the early hours of Wednesday, just south of El Salvador. That's why a tropical storm watch has been issued for the coast of El Salvador. It is important for the residents of El Salvador to remain attentive to the evolution of this tropical cyclone. Additionally, residents of southern Honduras and along the Pacific coast of Nicaragua and Costa Rica should pay close attention to the weather forecasts, as the outer bands promise significant rainfall with a high risk of flooding. We will be analyzing this further in the next few minutes. Let's take a look at some of the global model projections. Let's start with wind gusts. Here we have the GFS model, which brings the center of circulation close to El Salvador during Tuesday or Wednesday, just south of El Salvador. Under this projection, you can see that the center of circulation stops just before reaching the coast and then takes a turn to the southwest, as forecasted by the National Hurricane Center. If the GFS model projection holds, tropical storm winds would remain over the waters of the eastern Pacific, without affecting El Salvador, Honduras, or Nicaragua. Similarly, the European model projection also predicts something very similar. You can see Tropical Storm Pilar approaching the coast of El Salvador and then taking a turn to the southwest. The center of circulation is expected to remain just south of El Salvador and pass its closest point between Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Under the European model projection, tropical storm winds would also stay south of El Salvador. Now, the highest risk related to this tropical cyclone will not be the wind but the heavy rains anticipated over the next few days. For example, according to the GFS model projection, between 150 to 200 millimeters of accumulated precipitation is estimated over the next 5 days, affecting a large part of western Costa Rica, Nicaragua, southern Honduras, and the coast of El Salvador. If the GFS model projection holds, these rainfall accumulations could lead to a significant flooding and landslide event in these areas. You can see that the European model also forecasts a significant amount of rain for El Salvador and the western parts of Nicaragua and Costa Rica. The European model also predicts substantial rainfall for El Salvador, southern Honduras, and western Costa Rica and Nicaragua, with rainfall accumulations between 100 and 150 millimeters over the next 5 days. While it shows slightly lower rainfall accumulations than the GFS model, it could still pose a risk of flooding and landslides. Well, that's all for this forecast update. Tropical Depression number 19 will soon become Tropical Storm Pilar. It is expected to come dangerously close to the coast of El Salvador, although it is projected to remain over the waters of the eastern Pacific for now. However, in its slow movement over the Pacific waters, the right side of the future Tropical Storm Pilar's circulation promises heavy showers and excessive rainfall affecting El Salvador, southern Honduras, and western Nicaragua and Costa Rica. That's why residents of this area should prepare for a significant precipitation event that could lead to flooding and landslides problems during this week. Stay tuned to Hurricane Info on YouTube. To subscribe, click on the red button below the video that says subscribe. Then, click on the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload new videos. I hope everyone has an excellent start to the week.